All right, Shannon, jump in here. If Steph's Warriors do win the title, will you think less of it because they didn't beat LeBron?
Hell no. And people keep trying to find another way. Steph, I got you. People keep trying to find a way to disparage and undermine what Steph Curry is doing when we've never done this for any other superstar. In the history of the game, he won a title, and then we criticize where he didn't win a title against that guy. Larry Bird won 2 of his titles. He didn't beat Magic Johnson and the Lakers. He beat the Houston Rockets, who beat the Lakers. And we say, congratulations, Larry Bird. But somehow now, if Steph doesn't beat a LeBron James-led team, it's meaningless. How? Why? Same goes for the Boston Celtics. We're going to say now, we gave Michael Jordan credit for beating the Knicks on the way to winning the title. We gave him credit for beating the Bad Boy Pistons on the way to winning the title. We gave him credit for beating Reggie Miller and the Davis boys and Mark Jackson on the way of winning a title. Now, if somebody doesn't win the title and LeBron James is not on the other side, we take away from it. The Celtics beat KD and Kyrie. The betting favorite going into the playoffs to win the title were the New York Nets, were the Brooklyn Nets. Boston Celtics beat them. They beat a Finals MVP, 2-time league MVP in Giannis. They beat the #1 seed, Jimmy Butler, who is as good a playoff performer as we have in the league.
Sometimes.
And now all of a sudden. But see, I feel this was, and I just wanted to defend the Celtics because they won't have to go through a LeBron either. But I just want to defend Steph because I feel this is a shot at Steph. Because this is another way to try to undermine his case for getting into the top 10. Well, he didn't beat LeBron. Well, LeBron didn't get there. That's not Steph's fault. You can only beat. We don't take away, well, Jordan beat the 96 Supersonics. That's who he had to beat to win the title. At the end of the day, did you win the title or did you not? Who you had to, all you can do is play who's on the other side. It's not your fault if the #1 seed doesn't make it. It's not your fault if the team that you're playing against doesn't have a transcendent, a historically pantheon player, a Magic Johnson, a Larry Bird, a LeBron James. That's not the team that wins the title's fault. So no, I will not think any less of this title. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give it more credit because 17 and 18, Skip, no. I don't, you won the title. This title to me will mean more than any of the other titles because he beat a team that was fully healthy and he did it without another pantheon or transcendent player on his team. So for me, this title will mean more to the Golden State Warriors because there is no Kevin Durant, because the Cleveland Cavaliers can say, well, we would have beat you if we'd had Kyrie, if we'd had Kevin Love. Okay, that's debatable. There are no injuries on the Boston Celtics. So for me, this title will have more. I don't care about LeBron not being there. I don't care if Tim Duncan. We didn't do this with Kobe. Kobe was supposed to, in 2009, was supposed to play LeBron James. The Magic upset him. Kobe didn't win the title. I ain't hear nothing. Well, this title don't mean anything, Kobe, because you didn't play LeBron James. Why y'all keep doing this to Steph Curry? I'm not going to let y'all do this to Steph. Not today on my watch. I'm talking about you.
Whoa. Wait a second. We got a big timeout here. We got to stop the action because the guy who is disrespecting Steph Curry happens to be named Draymond Green because he started it. I didn't start it. He said that. We just showed the soundbite. No, he said that.
He said, as far as his basketball IQ, he says LeBron is dissecting the game in real time. He said the Celtics are extremely talented. They're extremely big. They have very good players. They have 2 all-star players. So no, what he was saying, because they asked him that question. LeBron didn't automatically just get him and start talking about LeBron's basketball IQ. He was posed a question because you and others like you trying to do.
Yet, what he divulged was that Draymond saying, I cannot tell a lie. He's basically saying the Celtics just aren't as good as LeBron's Cavaliers were. Because they don't have LeBron James.
Skip.
Okay? Well, you're the biggest LeBron fan in the world. I would think you'd be on board with that.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think the Boston Celtics the way they're currently constructed, LeBron James, Kyrie, Kevin Love, all those guys, you think the Boston Celtics are a better team than LeBron and Kyrie?
Heck no.
Okay, then.
I think LeBron and if those teams were healthy with Kyrie and Kevin Love, they would have swept this team.
Yeah.
Seriously, LeBron in his prime, if you went back to especially 2015 Cavaliers, they would have swept these Celtics. These Celtics are fatally flawed. The two kids on the wings are just wildly unpredictable and inconsistent. And there's no point guard. You admit that yourself.
Yeah.
You got the Defensive Player of the Year masquerading as a point guard. And the bench players come in, and sometimes I see them, and mostly I don't. Okay? So in the end, I don't know how they did what they did to Kevin Durant and company. It's still one of the upsets of the decade.
I know how they did it.
Well, they just attacked Kevin Durant, and he didn't know how to overcome it because they had been a flawed team all year because Kyrie wouldn't get vaccinated. They were not unified, and they did not have their third piece, who was James Harden and should have been Ben Simmons, and he was about to have back surgery. Okay? So that's what happened. It was 1-on-5 as usual, and Ime was smart enough to say, I'm gonna send the dogs at him. I'm gonna go 3-on-1 and see if he can hack that, and he couldn't hack it.
Right.
He hacked it against Milwaukee last year and came within a toenail on the three-point line. He did of beating them.
Giannis outgunned him.
Well, he did not. Kevin outgunned Giannis until the overtime, and then that was all. It was 1-on-5. You admitted that. So to me, Draymond was incredibly honest there, almost to a fault, because he's discounting the quality of this victory if, in fact, they close the deal tonight or if it takes Game 7, because the degree of difficulty is not as high with the Boston Celtics as it was with LeBron 3 times. It's why in 2016, Steph Curry suffered one of the all-time superstar meltdowns that I have ever witnessed this side of LeBron in 2011. In games 5, 6, and 7, he melted down and disappeared and shot 3 of 12 in those 3 fourth quarters from 3. He was horrendously bad, and they blew a 3-1 lead, and they blew right out the door. And you told me Draymond fled into the parking lot crying, calling Kevin Durant, please come save us. And the contingent flies across country on July the 3rd to beg Kevin Durant to come save them, and he did.
I'm trying to figure out how they know where KD was staying. He had to give him the coordinates.
He did.
And so he wanted to come to Golden State, too, because he needed them like they needed them.
No, he wanted LeBron. He wanted the pressure of going head-to-head with LeBron so I can show you I'm the best player on the planet.
He had go head-to-head with him when he was in OKC. LeBron James was spanking his butt.
Are we talking about the Baby Thunder?
Not a Baby Thunder.
Yeah,
I don't know if they were Baby
LeBron
Thunder or what they were.
Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and do you remember all the three-point shooters? All of a sudden, Shane Battier in Game 2.
But
remember
you know
that?
what?
Remember Mike Miller? Remember Mario Chalmers?
The Baby Thunder. But the Bible teaches us, spare the baby, spoil the child. Spare the rod, what is it? Spare the rod, spoil the child? Okay, so LeBron had to put something on the baby because he didn't want to spoil it.
He did, yeah.
Now, but Skip, Skip, it's a different. It's kind of like we don't discredit Tom Brady because he didn't play Peyton Manning in Super Bowls. Or we don't discredit him because he didn't play Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers. Give him credit. He did play a Patrick Mahomes. But to try to discredit someone because the other team doesn't have everybody that's won titles didn't always have a historically great player on the other side that was a foe. And that's okay. It's a title.
Okay, but Draymond Green volunteers that they don't have LeBron.
He said
it would be a lie for me to say this, and it would be an insult to LeBron.
Because it's different. He's saying because LeBron is thinking. It's because you said it yourself. Look at the guard play. LeBron James would pick this. LeBron James was going to make sure that if LeBron James was the point guard on this team, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is going to get great looks at the basket.
I would agree.
Every time in clutch or crunch moments.
I would agree with that.
That is the difference between Marcus Smart. Forget but just the understanding of the game and what is needed in the game in that moment.
Okay.
So Draymond is saying, while this team is talented, while they're fast and they're strong, it is a different type of a battle because I'm playing chess the entire time because what he's doing is that he's thinking ahead of time. It's like an offensive coordinator, Skip. After I call a play, I got to already start looking at my sheet, thinking about the next play on second down or third down, or if I'm going for it on fourth down. The play that's happening right now is of no importance to me because I've already called it. Now I got to think ahead. LeBron James is thinking ahead in real time. All the while he's playing the game, dribbling the basketball.
Well, I've told you for 6 years on this show, LeBron's got the highest IQ in basketball. You could argue he has the highest IQ in the history of basketball.
Okay.
Although Magic would be right. It'd be somewhere between.
And Draymond gave you an example. He says, how many guys can go from like a 7.5 minute all the way down to 3 minutes and tell you every single possession, tell you what happened, why it happened, what they did, what you did.
I think he was also indicating that LeBron can see it before it happens.
Yes.
He can tell you what's about to happen.
Yes, he can.
Okay.
So it's just different. Boston is more of a supremely talented. LeBron James, although he's immensely talented, he's a thinker of the game. I don't know how well, looking at the way the Boston's played down the stretch, you think they thinking these games through?
No, which is why the degree of difficulty is much easier against these Celtics than it was against those Cavaliers of LeBron and Kyrie.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we're going to discount the achievement.
No, we don't.
We have to discount.
We don't discount championships.
Well,
when have we ever done that?
Well, it's lesser than the ones.
No.
Because they needed Kevin Durant to get them over the hump against LeBron James.
So what they need now?
Right now, they don't need Kevin Durant.
So who Kevin Durant need?
What do you mean, who does he need?
Who does he need to get over the hump?
Well, he took LeBron right over the hump in back-to-back finals.
No, he did that with Golden State, with Clay, Draymond, and Steph. Now that he doesn't have them, who does he need?
He carried them to two titles.
Why can't he carry them damn self now? Since he carried them, so it should be easy. If you got 3 guys on your back, if I got a handful of groceries, I can walk a lot freer if I set them down.
The deeds were done. He did it twice.
Well, he can't do it for himself?
Well,
how can you give somebody, if I'm a therapist, how can I give somebody advice that I can't give my own self-advice? And here I am over here depressed, and I'm telling everybody else how to get out of depression.
Kyrie with the ring.
Now it's Kyrie.
He's semi-retired. You know it, and I know
it.
Well,
carry Kyrie like he did Steph, Clay, and Draymond is all I'm asking you.
There's supposed to be a guy named Ben Simmons who was not available last year. Let's see what happens when he is available.
All I know is LeBron James has carried less. He's carried less. LeBron James went to the NBA Finals 3 times with old Kyrie.
Okay.
How many times?
Much better teams than these Boston Celtics.
Went 3 times with Kyrie. Got an NBA Finals with Kyrie.
Steph should have ended this series 3 games ago. Yeah.
As a matter of, you know what? The Boston Celtics shouldn't even be in this series. If Kevin Durant is what you said he is, why in the hell is Boston even in the finals?
Every time I have you on the run, you have to change the subject.
You brought up Kevin Durant. I was leaving Kevin Durant alone. Kevin Durant wasn't bothering anybody. You brought him up.
But he looms over this series like a 7-foot monster.
I have to jump in here, guys.
Okay, let you tell it.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.